morning. Hello. This little guy is ready for the update for May. It's a gorgeous day. It's overcast. It's been raining and I absolutely love it. I'm in my cozy jumper. We've had loads of rain, which is amazing since we had basically no rain in April, which is very worrisome. So May's been great. It's not so great for working outside, but it has been wonderful for hiding inside and catching up on a whole bunch of video work after my parents and my friends were here for around a month. So I've got May's mega list ready to go through. This thing was extremely intimidating when I originally wrote it, but I knew I had the help of my parents and they really came through. You've already seen a few videos with them. You can see the playlist up here somewhere. And I've got a whole bunch more videos still to come. So a lot of this list that I go through is going to be a bit of a spoiler alert because I haven't shared the work yet. But I'll go through it anyways and tell you what I got done so you know what is in store in the future videos. So I've got my red pen and my green pen. Let's get started with the top terrace. Tidy dumping area, done. Extend top terrace, done. Begin exterior wall, done. Sort of. Plan and lay pipes, done. Much of this stuff was what my dad worked on in some previous videos. He powered through. He dug a lot of holes, he moved a lot of dirt, and I'm excited to share that with you. So let's start with tidy the dumping area. This is the dumping area, and though it still looks like there's stuff that's dumped here, I can't really do much about the giant piles of sand I have. I've cleared out loads and loads of stuff. There was all kinds of crap all up on this terrace, and it's a lot tidier now. Even this giant mound of dirt that's here, it's been used to extend the top terrace, which is amazing. Speaking of extend the top terrace, my dad worked so hard on this, and now I have a whole bunch of extra living space. Previous to that, it was kind of over here, and there was this weird area that I didn't use. Next on my list was begin the exterior wall, and I put a green check mark, but it's kind of probably not really truly started. I've basically laid one single lonely stone. So, you know, it started technically, but I haven't really done much work on it. One thing my dad did do is lay a whole bunch of pipes. They're underneath here. It's amazing. It takes my gray water away. And I've also planned pipes for my rainwater system. I'm actually going to send the rainwater catchment on top of my exterior wall and catch it down on a lower terrace because eventually my water tank will be higher than the roof level, so I won't be able to catch the rainwater there. I'm also going to plan some pipes for a washing machine here. And so I feel like a lot of piping has been laid under there and a lot of planning has been done as well. And while we're up here, this is my tool shed foundation. I wasn't expecting to get this done to this level, but it's been rainy, so I haven't been able to work in the water tank. So I managed to dig out a foundation. I think these are about 40 centimeters deep. I don't have enough gravel to fill it up to the proper height, but the foundation's dug. I'm awaiting a delivery of gravel, and I'm really excited to push on with this project. It's going to be a really fun one. Next up is the tool shed. I already showed you. I've dug the foundation. I've marked it out. I'm really happy with how that's going. I finally decided on a size, and I'm excited to push forward on that project. The shower. This one has been less successful. I haven't done anything in the shower. Meh, meh, meh. House. Chip the dirt from the walls. Done. Well, in progress. This is a never-ending job. Pack the walls with lime, done. Continue the bathroom walls. Continue the bathroom walls. Oh, with clay. Didn't do that one. Paint and oil the door. Done. Add screens. Did not do. I don't have any screen laying around. The stuff I have is all crumpled and crappy, so I haven't worked on that, even though it really is a 10-minute job. Everything else, my mom has been an absolute beast on these jobs. She spent loads of time chipping the front wall behind me and packing it with lime and also painting and oiling the door. So this was Mom's domain and she really came through. So thanks, Mom. Water tank. The water tank was me. So in the previous videos with my parents, I've been notably absent. That's because for most of the time, I've been banished down to the water tank. So I've cleaned the tank. I've laid the bricks, some bricks. I've added an overflow. Haven't changed the exit pipe. Haven't repaired the leaks. Haven't rendered. Chipped out a bit of the dirt, my mom did that, and haven't started pointing between the rocks. You're going to get a little look at the water tank in present day in 2023 in the next video on Friday, so stay tuned for that. I've got a lot to share there, and then we'll be pushing forward. I intended on doing a lot more work in the water tank, but it's been raining for the past 2 weeks, and rain and working with concrete outside doesn't really go well together, so I've basically switched focus to doing the tool shed stuff instead. So that's been on pause, and I'm really hoping that June gives me some dry days. I love the rain. I'm always happy to see the rain, especially in June, but it's looking pretty rainy in the forecast, so that could slow down the progress on the tool shed. I mean, on the water tank. Garden and land. Plant seedlings in the garden. Done. Clear weeds, done. Tidy lemon terrace, yes. Make and cover beds. I've made beds, I haven't covered any. Cut the grass, done. Set up the soaker hose. Drip irrigation, I bought, instead of drip irrigation, I used the very kind donations I got from several people to buy another soaker hose and a timer. I used the soaker hose for the first time, and of course I put it on and forgot to turn it off, and it completely drained my tank. So I think stuff like soaker hoses and irrigation, if you don't have a timer, if I don't have a timer, I'm definitely just going to forget about it more often than not. And so I've also used some of that donation money to buy a timer and another hose, and I'm going to set those up fairly soon. But so I bought those, yep. Edge raised beds, I haven't done this. This is where I wanted to chainsaw some log things, old telegraph poles, into small pieces and use them to edge the beds. I'm going to try to get to that in June. And more seeds. My mom was an absolute trooper in the garden. She worked her little socks off, and rather than talk about all the work she did, you'll see it in the videos, but let's just go take a look at the garden right now. And I'll walk you through all the stuff that's been done and a few of the things that still need to be done. So there's a whole bunch of stuff on my garden list, and my mom really came through. She was down here for probably weeks on and off doing most of the hard work in the garden, and it really shows. It's been wonderful to be able to have cleared all of the crap away, make some new beds. I was able to focus on sort of the heavier work of making the new beds and strimming and all of that stuff. And she really went to town on planting the plants out, planting new seeds, and everything is just looking wonderful. And this ladybug agrees. I love seeing these guys in the garden. The hugelkultur bed is doing the best out of everything. And then I've also managed to set up a soaker hose. But like I said, I need to add a timer onto this thing. I just think it's beautiful down here. The plums are growing big, even though the tree itself doesn't look so happy. It's got curly leaves happening. I've made some new garden beds. The tomatoes are thriving. Everything looks really great. Over here is the wood that I'm hoping to turn into the edged beds. I haven't done anything with those yet, but I will. I am wondering about my choice to plant gigantic sunflowers right next to my jalapenos. This thing is an absolute monster, and I think it's crowding out my little jalapenos, so that was probably a mistake, but live and learn. I still have a bunch of weeding to do. It's been raining, like I said, so I have a lot of tidying up to get done. And here's Manny the mango. He's looking very happy. I think this grape wants to say hello to him, so you can go back over there. You leave Manny alone. But I'm pleased with how he's growing. Comfrey's doing well. I also managed to clean up the lemon terrace. There's still a bunch of crap under here. This is the stuff I need for working on the water tank, so I don't want to clean that out until I'm done working there. But I've managed to get rid of all the junk that had accumulated here and made space for some plants. I've got lots of thriving tomatoes, some peppers, and I have grand plans of getting my bike out from under this tarp and taking it for a ride. So that can stay for now. Hopefully I unfurl that and actually get on it this year. So the garden has been a lot of work, but I think it's been a huge success. Still needs some attention here, but if you know what it looked like before from previous videos, you'll know that this is an incredible transformation, and it's basically all due to my mom and her hard work. So thanks, Mom. I'm already reaping the rewards of the garden. I've been eating strawberries out of here. I've been munching on kale, eating some lettuce, and it's just been really wonderful. So yeah, that's my garden. I'm very, very happy with it. Okay, that was the garden. On to the building. My dad came through again with some building done and done. So he made some polytunnel shelves, and he made a cat ramp for Mikey to come in and out the window. And again, rather than talking about them, let's go take a look. I'm not the most organized person if I don't have places to store things. I usually just keep things on the floor, in buckets, everything everywhere. So I really wanted a nice shelf to be able to store stuff in. And my dad really came through. Of course, I filled it with loads and loads of clutter, but I have grand ambitions of keeping it nice and tidy. I want to get a few more tubs like these so I can separate things. This is my painting tub. This is my plastering bucket. That's my safety gear bucket, and so on and so on. But having a nice spot to put everything is going to be amazing. I've even labeled the screws. So I have lots of big plans for this area, keeping it nice and tidy and nice and organized. And then over here we have the cat ramp, and Mikey's been using that to come and go as he pleases. It's been made out of that crappy tongue and groove that was laying around, and I was happy my dad was able to just use a waste product to make something that's quick and simple and does the job. So thanks, Dad, for the shelf and for the cat ramp. They're both amazing. All right, next on the list is the wood stove. Rather than waiting until November or late October when it gets cold, leaving everything to the last minute, cleaning stuff out like I usually do, and being cold for several weeks, I decided to clean out my flue pipes now so I could address any issues now instead of waiting till the last minute. So I did that. It was a very easy job. Everything worked as I was hoping. I have this kind of sleeve that the flue pipe pulls in and out. I wasn't sure how it was all going to work. And because I wasn't sure how it was going to work, I had grind the baffle on my list. But as it turns out, cleaning the pipes was fairly easy. So even though I have this weird baffle, which is like a piece welded kind of on the top of the oven box of my stove, for most people it seems to be removable. For me, it's welded on there. So my dad was going to grind it off and make it so it could be removable. But as it turns out, it's unnecessary. So we didn't do that. Buy, cut, and stack wood. I still plan on cutting, and stacking wood before the end of the season. But rather than buying it now, I'm going to hold off probably for a couple months because my car inspection is due in July. And that's the kind of thing that can go horribly sideways. So rather than spending a few €100 on firewood for next year, I'm going to hold off, see how my car inspection goes, see if there's any catastrophes I have to deal with. And if everything goes smoothly, then I'll invest in the firewood and then cut it, stack it, and have it there ready for the winter. Set up the strimmer. My dad set up the strimmer, my new favorite tool. I have so many favorite tools, but this one is most excellent. I was using it incorrectly the first time I tried it, so if you watched the previous video where I do a lot of strimming, I had it on the wrong setting. It wasn't reaching full speed. I had the string in wrong. Watched a few YouTube videos, and all is well, and it's the most amazing tool. I'm a big fan. Set up the sander. I got this sander thing from Vivor, the same people that gave me the polytunnel. My dad set that up for me, and you'll see that in a future video when I start working on the finish carpentry of my door. Train Mikey. This was a really fun one, and I didn't even really have to train him, but basically Mikey is a wonderful cat, but he's very demanding when he wants to go in and out. He's not a patient cat, and I didn't want to put a cat door in the front door, but I also didn't want to get up 5 times in the night to let His Majesty in, so I decided to try to train him to go in and out the shower window. And he's figured it out. I was expecting he would walk along the edge and sort of go in the window that way, but as it turns out, he just leaps across the vast divide of the shower, in and out the window, and he can let himself in and out now, so that's pretty amazing. I didn't even have to bribe him with any treats. He just kind of figured it out. So combined with the cat ramp on the other side of the building, he's able to come and go as he pleases, and that makes my life a lot easier, and it means that I sleep a lot better at night. Help Sinead. My friend Sinead was here with her family. She had a whole bunch of cousins come in from various parts of the world, and they helped her on her land. And though I didn't spend a lot of time down there working with them, I helped here and there. I did a few things. I arranged some stuff. So I feel like I can check that one off my list, and I expect that going forward, Sinead and I will work quite a bit together. She'll be back hopefully in October, and then more full-time hopefully in April. So we'll see how that all develops. I'm really excited to share her journey here as well. She's planning on doing a new build, and it should be very exciting. So look forward to that. Have lots of fun. Definitely. I love having my parents here. We worked loads, probably more than I would have liked, but we got, as you can see, loads done. And we also managed to fit in a lot of fun things as well. With Sinead here and my other friend Sancha as well, we also had lots of good times with them. So it was a wonderful month. I love having people around. It's always a little bit lonely when everyone takes off and leaves, but it is also quite full-on and tiring having everyone here all the time as well. So it's nice to have that balance of people visiting, going full-on, going for it with the work and the social activities, and then having some quiet time to myself afterwards as well is quite nice. And then we did other things as well. So I added in the gray water system. My dad saved me on this one. I had no idea how I was gonna get my kitchen waste and my shower water to somewhere decent. The garden bed right in front of my house is too small, I think, for the kitchen waste. There'd be too much water and maybe too many food particles and things. I just didn't have a good spot to send the water. So when my dad was extending the top terrace, I had the idea to lay the pipes for the gray water, and he went to town with that. He measured it out properly, he got the slope right, and now the water goes behind the polytunnel around the corner, and it's not in a perfect location at the moment, but it's fine for now, and eventually I'll steer it probably farther away down to the next terrace. I just need to design something, but for now, it's perfectly fine, and that's a massive relief, a huge job I was intimidated by off my list, and yeah, my dad really went for it with that. He was a digging machine, and yeah, thanks Dad for that. That was amazing. Assemble the workmate. I bought a little workbench thing to help me with doing carpentry. I'd been working on some sawhorses and some shaky tables and things, so I used some of the contribution money that I get from people to buy a proper workbench, and my dad put that together for me, so that was great. I don't really like putting things together. Maybe you've figured that out, but it's not one of my favorite things. Add another light. My dad is experienced with electrician stuff, so he wired up 2 more lights inside my house. He put one in my kitchen, actually 3 more lights. One in my kitchen, he added another one to my living space, and one over my shower, which is kind of hilarious because my living space is basically one room, but all of these lights really do make a massive difference, so that was excellent. He spent a few days on that. It was a little tricky, but he got it done, and honestly, it's one of the biggest changes that I've had in my life, in my day-to-day life. It's been amazing, so it's great to be able to see. It's great to be able to turn on a light and to be able to actually do things in your house, so that's great. Prune all the suckers. I sent my mom down to the lower terraces with the amazing KebTech orange clippers that I love so much, and she pruned a whole bunch of olive suckers, chopped them into pieces, and put them around the trees as mulch. So that was a great job. It has to be done before olive picking season in October, so it might as well be done now. So the energy from the tree gets sent to the olives instead of all these suckers at the bottom. Gas bottle box roof. My dad made a gas bottle box to hold my gas bottles out front of the house, and the roof hadn't been attached, so he chopped that to the correct size, bolted it down, and finished that job off once and for all. Cut the lilies. My mom took those same clippers and she annihilated some of the lilies that are beside my water tank. I need that space because that's sort of the access to the splash pool. So fortunately or unfortunately, depending on your opinion, the lilies had to go. Plus, I forgot to add this one to the list, but my dad worked really hard at the beginning of the trip putting up 3 shade cloths, one in front of my house, one beside the house, and one over the water tank, and they've made a huge difference. So May was incredibly busy and a huge success, I think. June is going to be a lot quieter. It's just me on my lonesome, and I'm going to be fairly focused on just a few jobs. So let me get the June list out and we can go over that. Okay, it's time for June. This list is a lot more sparse than May's list. Splash pool, finished laying the bricks all around the top. I need to go up one more layer. That's going to be a fun job. I really do like laying bricks. It's just the right amount of challenging, and when it's done, it's going to be a major milestone. So I'm looking forward to getting stuck into that. Point the rocks. This is going to be another really fun job. I want to scrape out the dirt between the rocks and point at least in the area beside the splash pool, just to have it all looking nice and finished and to stop the plant life kind of from growing and falling everywhere. Render the pool. I think for this one, I'm going to hire a friend to help me out. Some things I'm definitely willing to have a go on. Most things I'm willing to have a crack at, but this one, if I get it all horribly wrong, it'll just be super frustrating. I really don't want to mess this up. I don't want to do this whole thing and have it all be all janky looking and weird. I want a nice, smooth splash pool. So I'm just going to call in the professionals on this one. Whenever the bricks are laid, whenever it's all ready to go, I'll get my friend in and he can help me, hopefully, do the job. Waterproof the pool. I have this waterproofy stuff that you mix 1-to-1 with cement. It comes in a little 5-liter container, I think. And then I also have the blue pool paint to go over that when that cures or dries or whatever. So I'm going like double layer of waterproofing, and hopefully that'll do the trick. Plan the patio. Beside the splash pool, at the bottom of the stairs, I want to have a little spot where people can hang out, sit, make it easy to enter and exit the splash pool. So at a minimum, I want to have some sort of a design, just in case I'll need to tie the patio portion into the top of the bricks for the side of the splash pool, which might make no sense whatsoever, but it will once I start working on it. Shower. It looks like it's going to rain quite a bit in June, which could put a stop to the splash pool work, which will be very annoying because it's just going to be getting hotter and hotter, and I don't want to be doing this work in the brutal heat. But when it does rain, I have a couple jobs inside the house. So the shower, replacing the drain and rendering the walls, that's a carryover from May. And same with inside the house. Add the screens, should be a pretty quick job once they actually get screened. And then finish the door trim is another thing I'd like to do. Just having a couple things inside the house where I can hide away from the elements if it does start to rain too hard. Tool shed. I'm really excited about this job. I know a lot of you have been waiting for me to get started on this thing. Finish the rubble trench is basically what I need to do before I can actually start building the stone foundation. And unfortunately, I'm sort of at the mercy of the gravel man. It's very frustrating to be at the mercy of the gravel man. Nobody wants to be at the mercy of the gravel man, but he will deliver whenever he can, and it's quite difficult to pin the guy down. So you can only harass somebody so much. I don't want to push too hard because he's a nice guy, he's doing his best, but I can't really carry on with the project until he bestows his gravel upon me, and it's anyone's guess when that might be. I could rob some more gravel from my front porch. Maybe I'll have enough but I'm not sure. Hopefully, Gravel Man comes through and I can finish the rubble trench early in the month. And that means I'll then be able to start the stone foundation, which is going to be such a fun and frustrating job. I already know it's going to be very, very challenging, but I really do love working with stone. And I don't really know what I'm doing, but I have some idea for how to do this. So I'll be learning along the way, and it'll be really fun to share it. And I think it's going to be a really fun project to do and hopefully to watch as well. Finalize the design. I still haven't even finalized the design of my tool shed. I have a very good idea of what it'll look like, but I still need to do a cut list and final drawings before I can really push forward. I have the dimensions finally. It's going to be 3 meters wide by 1.5 meters deep, so that gives me some place to start. Begin the wood prep. I have a polytunnel full of beautiful pieces of Douglas fir. Even if I'm not ready to start cutting and marking and all that stuff, I can definitely prepare the wood. I can plane it, I can sand it, and I can make sure it's all square and get some pieces ready for when I am ready to start building with it. So that's my June list. It's a lot smaller, but there's a lot of challenging things in there. The bricklaying, everything to do with the splash pool is going to be quite challenging. The stone foundation is going to take a very long time, and I'm not really exactly sure how it's going to go with replacing this drain. So I think there'll be some fun stuff for me to do, just the right amount of challenging, hopefully not too much frustration, but I'm excited to give everything a try. So that's a wrap on my May update and June plans. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks to everybody who gives me contributions via Super Thanks. There's a little button down there, or also by PayPal. All of my details are below, so if you like my stuff and you want to throw a little extra cash my way to push the project forward, it's very appreciated. I've put the names down below of everybody who's contributed, so thanks to everybody who's contributed this past month and just in general in the past. It really does go a long way, and I really do appreciate it. And just thanks for watching. I love that my subscriber numbers are growing. I'm on the push towards 10,000. It feels like it's in reach, and for some reason that seems like a fun milestone to aim for. So if you haven't subscribed already, consider subscribing and push me a little bit closer to that goal. So I've been talking for long enough. Thanks for watching as always. I hope you enjoyed the video. Any questions, comments, suggestions, whatever, leave me a message below, and I'll see you in the next video.